Alright, so I just finished reading the first 7 chapters of Columbine, and I had a few reactions. Some parts of the book I was really enjoying, other parts not so much. Like, I was a little confused about chapter 5, 2 Columbines. I was a little confused while reading that. Maybe we'll talk about it in class. If not, I'll talk to you separately, maybe just to catch up on that. But otherwise, I had two strongest reactions for the first 7 chapters. First, I would say how awestruck I was. Obviously, I knew about Columbine, and I knew that there was a shooting and it was deadly. I didn't know a lot of these interesting facts that he brings up, so I'm really glad that he goes into detail. And the other side of this reaction was how he kind of takes you through Eric and Dylan's life as if they're normal people. I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there that they're just some psycho, crazy, like psychopath that, like, no human in their right mind could do this. But it's kind of freaky how he talks about them as normal people, almost even in their mind. They fully understood what was going on. And a part that I want to pull out is right at the beginning of chapter 4. They're talking about the prom plans that they're making, which is another example of how they show that they're in their right mind. Like, they're going to prom, they're not outcasts like the news said. So in the beginning of chapter 4, the first 2 paragraphs talk about the plans and the A lunches that they're in, but then it takes a little break and it says, Eric and Dylan plan to be dead shortly after the weekend. And when I read that, it kind of just freaked me out, and I had to take a step back and reread that again. Dave Cullen, not sure how you pronounce his name, but he has been doing a great job of drawing you in and walking you through their life, almost like you're just with them. And then he shoots that shot in there that says Eric and Dylan plan to be dead shortly after this weekend, and it kind of takes all their plans that they've talked about earlier in just chapter 4 in those first 2 paragraphs, and just shows how pointless they were. So that was my first reaction, and then my second reaction, the second strongest reaction, is a lot more generic, which is why I added that first one in there, just to get a little more beef in this. But I really enjoy the book. Like, I know it sounds kind of like a lot of fluff, and this isn't exactly what you were looking for, but I think I haven't read a novel like this with so many strong feelings surrounding the subject. Also, I think the fact that it's fiction, I wouldn't, if you were to ask me, would you prefer fiction or non-fiction book, maybe something like Chronicles of Narnia, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. I think this book has kind of lasered me in, kind of like a funnel, and I think I found my little niche. I think I like fiction or non-fiction, things like Columbine, where there's a lot of heat around the subject. I think it's really interesting to see someone else's perspective. So those are my 2 strongest reactions for the first 7 chapters of Columbine.